Xiaomi's Poco X2 is the best camera smartphone made by the brand till date. I haven't tested the Mi 10, but this is by far the most value for money camera monster that has been manufactured by the company. In saying that, I'm including the smartphones in the range as high as 40,000 rupees because this phone has got that potential to take on the big boys like the OnePlus 8, which retails as high as 45,000 rupees. In today's video, I am doing a dedicated camera review of the Poco X2 smartphone, and I've taken around 100 photos in varying lighting conditions, both from the back camera as well as the front camera in the last week. I've divided the video between different parts for you guys to clearly understand the potential of this smartphone in terms of camera department. And if you want to see more such amazing videos, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel with notification bell set to all right now. And let's get started with the video. Coming to the hardware, this phone has a 64 megapixel primary Sony IMX686 sensor at f1.9 aperture, an 8 megapixel ultra wide angle lens at f2.2 aperture, 2 megapixel macro lens, and as well as a 2 megapixel depth sensor at f2.4 aperture. And on the selfie front, we have the 20 megapixel and 2 megapixel selfie cameras. Coming to the photo quality, the details on this smartphone that comes out are exceptional. The pixel binned images at 16 megapixel are extremely well optimized, and the phone does not even give any shutter lag while taking the 16 megapixel pixel binned photographs. Dynamic range is top notch. There is no oversaturation of colors. The photos look a bit processed and they are not too flat in terms of colors. The processing that is done is quite well balanced between being flat and oversaturated. The images are very sharp, and people might even consider these to be over sharpened. The algorithm just does not go to the extremes in over sharpening the images, but when you put them on the computer, this look extremely very good. When you're taking some ultra wide angle photographs, there are a bit of distortion that you can see, and the zoom also is very well optimized as well. You can opt for the 2x zoom from the viewfinder, but it is just a crop from 16 megapixel photo mode and it is upscaled back to the 16 megapixel mode. The 2x mode shots are extremely impressive, but using the viewfinder you can go as high as 10x digital zoom, which is honestly unusable. But overall, the primary 16 megapixel photo mode does an excellent job. Now coming to the 64 megapixel mode, I've actually taken a photograph in 64 megapixel mode and I just put it on my computer and I kept zooming to the areas to see the level of detail that it actually maintains. This phone does not have a dedicated telephoto mode, but if there is an opportunity to just take a 64 megapixel photograph of a beautiful scenery and just zoom in, you can get a lot of details as good as a 12 or 13 megapixel telephoto lens if that would have been present. And the level of details that come in this 64 megapixel resolution is downright impressive. The sharpening is less intense over here, and it actually takes around 1.5 to 2 seconds to shoot the 64 megapixel photos because this is not an 855 or an 865 processor, and it is a 730G processor, and it takes a little bit of delay to just process these images. And to shoot such huge size images of 64 megapixel, the photo size will be as high as 35 to 40 MB, which is humongous. Now let's talk about the most fun part of this camera, that is the macro mode. I honestly love the macro mode on this phone because of how near it can go to the subjects. At the same time, I would have actually loved a high resolution instead of a mere 2 megapixel resolution. This phone seems to have an autofocus on the macro mode as well. Unlike the majority of the macro shooters out there, be it flagship or a mid-ranger, there is no autofocus, but in this phone it makes it much easier to take a macro mode shot. And the close-ups that we took from the macro mode is outstanding. It looks really good, and you can even shoot videos with the macro mode, which is amazing as well. Put some post-production here and there and make some edits on Snapseed or Adobe Lightroom, whichever application you need, and you're Instagram ready with your macro mode photographs on the Poco X2. Now coming to the human subjects or people photographs taken from the Poco X2 smartphone. The human subjects on this phone look absolutely impressive. Thanks to the Sony IMX686 sensor, the skin tones are well balanced. They are not whitish or washed out or something like that. Due to the dedicated depth sensor and the edge detection algorithms, the background blur is also well managed on the portrait mode shots on this phone. Indoor shots of people also have some noise, but it is something that you see on every other smartphone, right? So overall, the photos of people that you take from this smartphone is extremely impressive. Now let's talk about the selfies. Again, in the selfie department, the dedicated depth sensor 2 megapixel resolution kicks in, and the selfie portrait makes photos look really dramatic. You can edit and make all sorts of drama out there. The phone takes some amazing selfie photographs. The details are crisp, colors are nice, and the contrast is excellent. And also there is HDR mode in selfies as well. But there is limited width for the photographs that you can take, and you can cover only up to your arm length. And indoor selfies are again noisy and less detailed as well. Low-light photographs are very usable. Use the dedicated night mode that is there in the camera app to take better photos in the low-light and night mode conditions. And the night mode photos come out to be very good. Otherwise, in low-light conditions, this phone does not perform as good as some Pixel or iPhone or something. But for the price range, I would really say night mode photographs are good enough. The video recording capabilities of this smartphone is where I made this verdict that this is the best camera of any smartphone under 20,000 rupees. The phone supports up to 4K 30fps video recording from the rear, and 1080p 60fps is what you guys are watching right now. Switch to 4K 30fps and camera shines at its best. The details are so good. Because of the high resolution sensor, there is a natural background blur when you move close into the subjects. One weird thing that I felt is that the 4K videos look actually more stable than the 1080p 60fps videos, which is quite hilarious. The electronic image stabilization that is present on this phone also does a good job in giving out some amazing videos on this phone. Also, with the zoom that you can do on the viewfinder, you can also zoom when you're taking photographs or even taking videos. And even in indoors or in less or artificial lighting conditions, the video recording capabilities are quite good. I actually recommend using the 4K mode to take any videos on this phone because the colors are so vibrant and punchy, and it makes them look like they are YouTube ready or just they are ready to post online. So good it is. Also, when I was shooting in the macro mode and slow motion mode, the videos came out to be very good. Macro mode has only 720p resolution and slow motion mode has 1080p at 120 frames per second, which is very cool as well. The front facing video is capped at 1080p 30fps maximum resolution, and there is no electronic image stabilization from the front facing camera. But the videos that come out of the front facing camera are very good in broad daylight conditions. So, if you are into vlogging, this phone can actually do the job very well. Also, there is something called beauty mode for front-facing video recording if you are into that. The colors in the 4K video recording is so freaking punchy that I actually keep recording so many 4K videos on this smartphone. The 64GB of internal storage was not enough for me. So if you are looking to buy this smartphone, I would actually recommend you to go for the 128GB variant because 4K videos take a lot of space. Colors are so punchy, the colors are so vibrant. Oh my god, this looks absolutely wonderful. The video bitrate is actually around 42 megabits per second in 4K video recording and is around 20 megabits per second in 1080p video recording, both at 30 frames per second and also at 60 frames per second. Now coming to the audio recording from this phone, it is actually average, guys. The audio in stereo microphone that is present is at around 96 kilobits per second bitrate. When we tested this smartphone in different varying lighting conditions and in different resolutions, the actually video that came out of this smartphone had different resolutions from different camera sensors. 4K 30fps is the best, I would actually say. The details are excellent in all conditions. Dynamic range and contrast is also excellent in all conditions. There is also something called a vlog mode that is present in the camera application, which actually deserves a special mention. It actually allows you to shoot some short videos that you can directly post on Instagram or Facebook or something. It has some predefined templates that is present. It edits all those short footages that you take and it clubs them and adds some cool effects, some nice background audios as well. The videos that come out of the front camera is also very well detailed. Sometimes when you're taking videos from the front camera, background tends to get washed out, which is actually common considering the price range of the smartphone. Overall, the front camera is very good. Slow motion video recording was also fantastic, although the resolution was capped at 1080p. The slow motion videos are actually real fun, guys. Overall, the video recording capabilities of this phone is actually an 8 out of 10 from my side. And now let's come to the final verdict about the camera of this smartphone. The camera of this smartphone is an overall 9 out of 10 for me because the range of possibilities that it offers, the 64 megapixel sensor having some outstanding detail levels. High-res photos will actually compensate for the lack of the telephoto lens on this phone. And thanks to the Sony sensor, the colors are so well balanced. It is actually ranked over any smartphone under 30,000 rupees price range. Thank you for watching, guys. If you guys have liked this video, please hit the like button, share this video with your friends, and subscribe to the channel for more interesting content as this one. Thank you for watching, guys.